Alright, so I've set myself a challenge. Challenge to survive 100 days in a hardcore world while also having to make an underground base. And also make it look good, which making it look good in itself will be a challenge. And if I can make these 100 days without dying, then that is a plus. But one thing I haven't said yet is that if I do survive these 100 days and make a good looking base, which will be up to your guys' votes on if it does look good, then this could become an actual world that I do put into rotation in the near future. And this will also benefit my building because I'm not a great builder. And practice makes perfect. So let me just go ahead and credit these mods because they are great mods. I have the tree harvester, the ore harvester, and a backpack mod. Those all come up later. And also I have a rotten flesh to leather mod, which will let me smelt rotten flesh and turn it into leather. And that will help me with making, an enchanting area. Because it just, I'm probably not going to be able to get a cow down underground with me. At very best, I'm probably only going to be able to get a chicken if I get some eggs, and it just happens to, hatch a chicken. So, yeah. Let's jump into it now. And so after I got my stone tools, I went over to that oak tree that I got those 3 logs from, and I got that. I got that tree, and I got those saplings to help me grow more of those oak trees underground. And then after that, I got some cocoa beans and I got some jungle trees so that I can make it a little bit more diverse down in the cave because, in a cave it's going to be super bland. There's going to be a lot of stone and just there's not going to be a lot of colors, basically. So I was thinking, hey, let's get some more colorful trees and, get, all this just to make the base look a little bit more lively. And then after that, I went and got some bamboo so that I can eventually, start a farm for that, and get some scaffolding, of course. And then after that, I saw some pigs, so I went over to those pigs and I harvested their meat for food. Because, this being hardcore, food runs out very fast, and I don't want to lose this run to hunger, because that would be kind of a boring end to it. So I just went the safe route and got some food. And I don't guess that the rest of this really needs to be dialogued. I'll just show you the footage. I went over to this plains biome and I got all the sheep and the cows and the chickens and the pigs and, I think I got a horse or something. But, yeah. And then after I committed mass murder with those animals, I went and found this village that I had seen when I first logged into this server. And I went over here, I got some hay. I looted the village. I killed the iron golem. I got some paper, some bread. I even got a bed from one of the houses. Yeah. And I did, like, think that it was a good idea to turn my shaders back on. But now, looking at it in hindsight, I should have just left them off because doing that and also recording really lagged my computer. And then after I did all that, the sun started to set on day 0, and I went to sleep, waking up on officially day 1 of the challenge. Because for whatever reason, Mojang decided to make the servers all start on day 0 and not day 1. And then after all that, I just kind of meandered back over to the plains side of the map. I actually found a swamp biome, which was actually pretty cool. And then I tried to go down right here to actually start the underground part of the challenge, but it was all water when I checked under there, so I moved on. Which actually turned out to be a pretty good investment, because I found a ruined portal with, I think, a golden hoe and a golden apple with some flint and one of those little fireball thingies. Kind of hovered over the golden hoe, trying to decide if it was actually worth it. And then right over the hill, I actually found this pretty cool cave. And then for about 30 seconds to a minute, I was battling my I was battling my thoughts of wanting to go down in there and grab that coal or that iron that I saw at the very bottom of it, which actually it was a really good idea to not go in there because I probably would have died because I had no armor or anything. So, yeah. And then I also saw this spruce tree off in the distance. So I decided to go over there to try and kind of like, get that tree, and then I would go underground like then. But then I got sidetracked by some pigs and sheep. And then a little bit closer to the spruce tree, got sidetracked by a pumpkin. And I actually didn't get the spruce tree just yet. But I did get some pumpkins and I did get some food, so it was, beneficial nonetheless. And then finally, after getting a lot of coal and sheep and pigs and pumpkins and such, I actually finally decided to go underground at the probably middle of day 1. And so I started to dig a hole and made some torches. And then I patched the hole up, said goodbye to the overworld for now, and actually turned my shaders back on since, there's not going to be so many little buffers because of the because of so much like so much for the computer to render stuff. And then I found this coal vein. It filled up one of the unfinished stacks of coal and then gave me 58 more. It was a huge coal vein and it left me stunned for a while. I mean, it was so big it broke my pickaxe. Like, it was a very big vein. And then finally, not long after that, I made it to Y11. And started to dig out a 9x9 little cube. And then saw this. This is a huge cave. And it really intimidated me because it was so big and it was right in the path of where I was going to put my house. And I guess I didn't really acknowledge it at first, but this actually proved to be one of the scariest things I had ever ventured down into. Of course, I didn't venture down into it until after I cleared out the 9x9 space. Which actually wasn't looking too shabby already. And then I also found a big coal vein, which is why you see this hole that I'm patching up. And it also led me to a bunch of dirt, which I actually hadn't thought about until then to get. But dirt was going to be essential for me to survive. And I hadn't even begin to think about getting it while I was on the surface, which was a very idiotic move. And I'm very lucky that I did find it so that I didn't actually have to, like, go back up to the surface so early in the challenge just to get dirt. I also made the ceiling taller by 2, just to make it a little bit more spacious because, you know, nobody likes a 2-block tall house. And if this was going to be my permanent base, then I needed to step it up a little bit and make it just a little bit more spacious and make it look nice. And then I noticed this bigger cave above the one that I had just seen. So I made like a little tiny wall between that and my base so that skeletons don't see me and snipe me out. And then after that, I actually made a sleeping bag, which doesn't seem very monumental right now. But to make a backpack, you need a sleeping bag. So I just kind of kept that in my inventory. And then I went and looked at what type of, what stuff I needed to make a backpack. And it's not expensive, but you need a piece of string, which can just be so hard to get, especially this early in the challenge. And so I built up the courage to go down into that cave that I saw earlier. So I made a I made a shield and a bucket. And with the bucket, I went and got some of that water from this little water cave that's behind this wall. And used that water to make a little elevator just to get me down into that cave. I didn't see any mobs, so I just kind of jumped down in there. And then I took, I saw a creeper and I panicked, so I just took some of my cobblestone and blocked up this little hole back here. And then I started to light up the, I started to light up the cave with a bunch of torches. And you won't believe how much iron this cave had. And then I saw a diamond, which unfortunately I couldn't mine yet because I didn't have an iron pickaxe. So I went back to the base and made 2 furnaces, and I started to smelt up all this iron that I'd gotten from this cave. And then I broke the top of that little wall, and I started to make like just a roof. And then my iron finished smelting, so I made myself a pickaxe, and I went back down to the cave. I found some some gold, so I mined that and found yet another water cave. And a cave just beside where the diamond is, and then I mined the diamond. Now, it was only 1 diamond, but it was still a lot for being only a couple days, like, I think only 2 days into the challenge so far. So after dealing with all of that gravel, I went and got all of the iron that I saw in the cave, and then I went back up to my base. And then I almost lost it all. I'm not even gonna say anything, I'm just gonna show you guys what happened. Thankfully, I did manage to get away from those guys before they could kill me. But that did leave me on 2 hearts. And with 2 hearts, even just 1 wrong step, and I could have died and lost all of this progress. So I just went back upstairs to my base, and I made some food, and I looked at all that I had gotten in just 2 days. 2 Minecraft days, and I have full iron armor and a bunch of iron to smelt. I threw some bread around in celebration that I actually made it this far. And I know 2 days does not sound like a whole lot, but it is a lot when you're as bad of a Minecraft player as I am. I mean, I've died from fall damage before, and yet I made it 2 days. I survived silverfish, I survived an entire cave, and I got full iron armor, a bunch of food, and a diamond. I'd say that that was a pretty successful 2 days. Going into the next clip, I heard a zombie. Now, this may not sound monumental, and I didn't think so either until I saw what he had in his hands. zombie had string, which was going to allow me to make a backpack. And a backpack will save me so much time with storage. Hastily, I picked up all of my resources, my leather, my sleeping bag, and a chest with that string, and I made a backpack, which I immediately leveled up into an iron backpack, which would allow me to get +2 armor points. After that, I was thinking maybe this cave that's above my base will be monumental in helping me get resources. So I gave it a chance. And I decided to venture in and put down all of my torches. Upon going up, I noticed there weren't any mobs, which was actually really good. So I immediately started placing down torches and, you know, just lighting up the place so that mobs don't eventually spawn. And then I started to get a lot of resources, and I mean a lot. I mean, there was a bunch of iron, there was a bunch of gold, lapis, coal, whatever you could think of. It was in this cave. And then I saw this Enderman and I thought, hey, why don't I go and get an ender pearl? So I dug me a little hidey hole, and then I looked at the Enderman straight in his eyes and attacked his feet to get absolutely nothing. All of that work to not get an ender pearl. That really sucked. But I suppose you get one thing, you have to trade it for another. So I just sucked it up and went and placed torches everywhere again to keep mobs from spawning on top of me. I also got some more coal and some iron. They were hiding at the top. That was hiding at the top of this cave. And it was actually a really good cave, like a really, really good cave. So it was really in my best interest to light up everything. And then I had my first experience with a creeper, but I just walked that off like a champ. And then I again almost lost this entire run to a skeleton. And then I just blocked it off like a baby. After getting all of that iron and gold and what have you, I went back down into my base and I added some doors. One of them I just eventually scrap later on, but the other one is to just kind of get in and out of my house, so that, you know, I don't have to, you know, do this or that to get in and out of my house. And, you know, after I did that, I just kind of did a minor renovation to the outside of my base, and just like dug out the roof a little bit to make it 3 blocks high instead of, you know, just a regular 2 blocks. And then after that, I actually went inside and made the roof a block And for a while, everything was just kind of pretty normal. I did some renovations to the house. I, you know, made it a little bit more spacious, and I actually took away the stairs for the doors a couple times, and then put them back, and then took them away, and then put them back, just because I didn't really know, like, what to do with it. I didn't know if I should put some trapdoors down and make like a kind of ladder situation out of that or what, but I just kind of did what I did. Made a pickaxe and stuff, and just, you know, did this or that, you know, for the rest of the days. I did a bit right here. So I mined out the ceiling to be 1 block taller, and I didn't really like do this all at once. I kind of spread this out over a little bit. And then I made the room just a little bit more spacious. And then got sidetracked and started doing something else. If you have watched this far into the video, please comment chocolate. I actually ended up digging out the stone floor and replacing it all with jungle planks, which I think was actually a really nice touch because the floor was looking a bit bland, and for the past while I've been focusing on the outside. So I just thought it would be a good little difference to instead look on the inside rather than the outside. I also dug out the roof another block just to make it a little bit taller, I guess. I don't really remember what was going through my mind at the time when I did that. And then as I was going through this, I realized that, like, I'd walked past the jungle tree quite a bit of times without even realizing that it had grown, and it was a very funny little afterthought, because in that moment I remember when I finally realized that it's grown, I remember thinking, like, oh my gosh, finally it grew after so long, and just seeing how it just grew, like, just now, like 10 minutes before I realized, it was just really funny to me. And then right here is where I contemplate using a kind of diorite, like, outline for the pools of water, just to add a little bit of depth to the detail of this cave, because it's I'd rather it not look bland than you know, at the end of this whole challenge. So it was just a little it was just a little side thought. Thought it looked cool, and it actually did end up looking cool, like, in the end. So it was very much worth it. Very, very much so. No matter how long it took me to gather all of the diorite needed for it. So yeah, it was fun. And this was the moment that I realized that the jungle tree grew. It took so long for me to realize that. And when I broke it, it kind of stressed me out because it only gave me one sapling to work with. So I didn't really know what to do with that. But then I decided to, with the floor, I actually decided I was going to go with smooth stone for the floors. And I thought it was going to be a good touch, and it actually did end up being pretty cool. So, yeah, that happened. That moment right there was where I actually got, like, confirmation that, yeah, that's definitely what I'm gonna do for that floor. Because I just looked at it, and it just popped beside the diorite. And I just thought it looked really, really good at the time. I actually cut it off right there to go take a nap or go eat or something. Maybe go to the store. And when I came back, I had forgotten everything that I had done. Like, I just completely forgot what I had done the day prior. So, or the moments prior. So I kind of recouped. I remembered what I was doing, and then I put down some more stone. Then I decided to get rid of the second door just now. Wait, no, I didn't. I was just replacing the floor, actually. I got both of us. But yeah, that's kind of what I did. I think that this is where I realized that I didn't torch this area because I nearly lost my sapling to a creeper, and I'm really thankful that I didn't lose that sapling because I've only got one more, so I'd like to savor that so I don't have to go back up to the surface and try to find that jungle again. Because I'm genuinely not even sure where that jungle is anymore. And then right here, I'm just kind of looking down in here, and I decide to go down. Just because I hadn't gone down there yet, and I wanted to see what was down here, because this is deep slate level right here. And then I got attacked by a million mobs at once, and I had to retreat and leave, go back up, because this was, I want to say, the third time that I almost lost my hardcore world. So I just decided not to go with that for right now. Like, I'll go back down there when I've got my act together, you know. After that, I just kind of after that near-death experience, I kind of just stress built. So I added a diorite lining around the other water pool, just to get it nice and symmetrical. And then I went and grabbed some more of that stone and I put it in there to cook. And then with the stone that I just got, I put some more of the floor down and such. Then I finally put down some jungle logs to plant the cocoa beans. Katana's messing with something. What are you doing? Yeah? Yeah? What? What's wrong? Yeah? Oh. Yeah, you want some love, don't you? You want some love. Yeah. Oh, Katana, am I right? for a lot of this episode, I actually just did some renovations to the like roof and the walls until I found this cave. I was super confused by this because I didn't realize that there was a cave right here, but it actually had some decent, like, a decent amount of iron in it. So I gathered that just to kind of, you know, replenish the amount of iron that I had used, and just kind of lit up the cave so that, you know, within so much of my so that within so much of my base, you know, mobs wouldn't spawn in there. And I kind of wanted to try and go back down into the bottom part of the cave, but I think I kind of hesitated because I did almost lose the entire run. So I just did some minor little renovations for a bit. Until I got bored of doing that and thought it was a good idea to go back down into the cave. And it's actually kind of crazy that I didn't die right here. I'm very grateful that I did not die right there because I thought that skeleton was gone. Like, I thought that the spider took care of it. But I guess not. So, yeah. It was very eventful, though. Yeah. Hold on, I'll be right back. No, stay. Now your sister's in here. No, you want to play with her? You seem bored. No, don't attack. No. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Jeez. seriously did not comprehend in my mind that slimes could spawn in caves, which I guess it makes sense because it's below Y level 40. So yeah, I was very cautious about killing that because I truly could have died from that slime. I remember trying to deal with those things in one of my super flat worlds, so. Just decided to kind of make this look like a little staircase kind of. I filled up this little hole. I couldn't remember at the time what that was from, but that's from that coal that I found at the beginning when I found this cave. So, yeah. I kind of made this like a little staircase-ish situation and just, you know, did little renovations. Kind of. I was thinking about like what to do with that little diorite. No, my mouse, Katana. Why did you knock my mouse off? Okay. Sorry. I was trying to figure out like what to do with that little diorite kind of ledge. When I guess I was just looking down into the thing, into the little ravine right here, and then I decided to go back down there for whatever reason. I mean, yeah. And then I think this is actually where I went kind of deep in and, you know, explored a little bit. So when I broke this redstone, it updated the gravel, and I just remember looking back and being like, whoa, what? And I just, I couldn't figure out why that gravel fell for like a while. So, I remember just being so confused, and then I went in there and I got that lapis, which is going to be useful for later enchanting. And so I actually saw these diamonds over here, and I went over and had a little scuffle with some creepers. Had them, and, oh yeah, and a skeleton too, actually. I had a pretty big scuffle with the creepers and the skeleton, but I made it out. It was a pretty close call, actually, though. So I had these creepers blow up and stuff like that, and then after lighting up the place a little bit, I finally collected these diamonds. 3 whole diamonds. Can you believe that? I don't know exactly what day I'm on, but I am not that far into the 10 days yet. And I've managed to get 4 whole diamonds. I'd say this is the most successful hardcore world I've ever had. And I can't believe that I haven't died so far. I even found some more diamonds right there and then right over there. And then got scared by a zombie with an iron sword. Those zombies with iron swords are just insanely dangerous because they could just, they could one-shot me. Like, depending on how much hearts I've got. And that's usually pretty dangerous when it comes to certain aspects of it. So I was cautious with that guy and then took out some spiders, or a spider. And then I actually went around, just torched up the place, and I saw some diamonds over in the corner after dealing with some zombies, but I couldn't get to it because there were some skeletons around. And then, like, 4 or 5 or maybe 6 zombies actually spawned on me. And I had to take care of those. And I actually just got so sidetracked that I completely forgot about those diamonds for a good minute before I eventually tried to go and deal with those skeletons again, but it just, yeah. And then more zombies spawned on me. It was just zombie after zombie. I mean, there was just so many zombies. Like, and they just kept spawning out of nowhere. I mean, I noticed like at least 10 of them already. Like, and all the while I'm trying to take care of these skeletons so that I can get to those diamonds, and I just I was trying so hard to get to the diamonds, but I couldn't, like, because it was just zombie after zombie, and there were a bunch of skeletons, and I didn't want to take my chances, so I head back up. But I did manage to get 8 entire diamonds. So I'd say that was a pretty good adventure into those caves to get all of that. And then I decided to just kind of get some more resources like diorite and stuff, so that I could start to, finish up this lake and add more little pieces of diorite here and there, just to, do this or that with, and just, And then my iron axe broke and pickaxe broke, and I did something drastic. I used 3 of my diamonds to make a diamond pickaxe. This was the first little bit of diamonds that I've ever used so far. So it was a pretty big moment. So I headed back up and I started to do some more little additions with the polished diorite, and just added this and that to everything, and just you know, did my duties like farming, and taking care of the sugar cane, and the wheat and stuff. So yeah, it was actually a pretty successful couple of days. And then I finally decided to add some stairs to that little lip, just to make it look like more full, if you know what I mean. Cause you know, it doesn't look as full as I think that it could have. So I just added that, and it popped so much. Like, it just looked so good. And this is what really scared me right here. This tree did not give any sapling. And I was running low. I only had one more sapling, I believe. So I had to really hope that that next tree would give me a sapling, because it could mean the difference between me going up and me staying down here. I started to clear some of the area behind the lake out, because I had this kind of vision of like going and clearing out this area and making just a little abode behind the lake, so that it feels more like a oasis rather than just a base. So that it feels more like I'm thriving rather than just surviving, you know? I finally took a look at my day count and it had hit day 7. This marks a moment where I've lasted more than 4 days in a hardcore world. I mean, that is amazing because I've barely ever survived more than a couple hours, maybe even just like 30 minutes in a Minecraft world without dying. And it's just great. Like, I am so proud of myself for finally ending up past 5 days in a Minecraft hardcore world. After going out to the store, I come back and I dig some more. My image is to get this all flattened out and then kind of make like a little divot on the wall where it kind of like goes in and cascades into like this little lava fountain where you can get lava from using a cauldron, a bucket of lava, and some of that dripstone I had collected earlier. And then the silverfish returned. Man, are silverfish annoying. I mean, like, thus far, I've been attacked by silverfish twice already. And they are so hard to get rid of. It's insane. Man, I mean, this recording is mostly just me digging and digging and digging. I mean, I did so much mining, and this pickaxe really came in clutch. I mean, I couldn't have gotten this far this fast without this pickaxe. This was probably the best investment, and now the pickaxe was running low. Every time I looked, that pickaxe kept getting lower and lower, and my investment was slowly dying out. I mean, it really came in handy, but unfortunately, I had to put it down. So, leaving it on 1 durability, I brought it into my house and I made an item frame to put it in, just as a little memorial. Then I remember that I have a mod installed called Reinforced Chests, allowing me to make these special chests that have extra inventory slots, and then also they're extra durable. And that's going to come in handy when it comes to cobblestone storage, because it's just, I'm getting so much cobblestone and it's crowding up my chests. I soon got back to it with an iron pickaxe, and I actually decided to take the andesite and over the top of the walls, make like a little andesite outline. But first I needed to get rid of all of the rest of the stone, so I started to do that first and then did the andesite later. And so finally, after removing all of that, I actually started to put in the andesite on the very top rim of all the walls, just to add a little bit of detail. I also had a vision where I would put fences up on top of, or like on these little andesite blocks, to kind of make it seem like the andesite is just where you put lighting, if that makes sense. But unfortunately I don't have enough time this episode to actually carry that through. So I just ended up putting up the andesite layer, and then just kind of the rest of the day I just did little renovations here and there. And then I put the flooring in, or as much of the flooring as I could before getting attacked once again by the stupid silverfish. I mean, these guys are like the phantoms of the caves. I mean, they are so hard to hit and they do so much damage. Like, I've almost gotten killed by these guys so many times, and they keep destroying my house or my base every time they spawn, because they just, every little bit of stone in the area will get turned to silverfish. Like, but after that, I just warily got back to putting in the floor. I kept hearing silverfish around, but I couldn't like pinpoint where they were, and they didn't exactly seem like a threat to me at that current moment, so I just kind of let it slide. I got very, very mad because they they destroyed that wall right there, and I had to put that back in. Silverfish are just so much of a hassle. So I put more stone in the, or cobblestone in the furnaces to get turned into smooth stone before I realized that I do need a couple of resources from the surface. So I went up to the surface for the first time. When I reached the surface, I was just so relieved to see something other than stone. I mean, it had been 9 whole days, and it felt like forever. So while I was up here, I got the spruce trees that I meant to get earlier, but I forgot to get. I got the saplings too, to make it later, and then I saw a dark wood forest. This was insane because I have just gotten so much of, like, I've just gotten so much resources to make this underground base look just as best as possible, and now I get more. I mean, it's amazing how much resources I've gotten to help me make this base look good. And so after getting a bunch of those trees, I got all the sand that I needed for glass, which would help me put up the lava that I was talking about earlier. It would help make it, brighter inside the house, and just add a little bit of like spark to it. I was so happy after that I even got birch trees, which I usually don't do. I don't really like the way the birch looks, but I do believe that somewhere in that base I could find something to put birch on, be it a floor or a wall or ceiling or what have you. And so, after getting all of those resources, I headed back down. And immediately after I got back down, I went out and I planted some of those dark oak saplings, just to make sure that I get those into rotation without, forgetting about them and never using them again. And the jungle tree had actually grown, and disaster struck. I am now completely out of jungle planks. Jungle saplings. That means that if I want to use jungle saplings, I have to go back up there to get them from another tree in that jungle forest at spawn. With this weighing heavily on my conscience, I went back down into that original cave to get that lava from earlier. And once I got that lava, I went back out and I started to make the little space for said lava, as you can see in the footage behind. With the glass that I had smelted earlier, I took this lava and I put it into that little column that you see me making. It took several tries to get this right, to make this look right. I actually had to put the collection area actually like under the ground to make it just look right, and then after that I had to, you know, make the lava go one block up. It took so long. But alas, after several tries, this is how it came out. And I do apologize for not looking at it directly for very long. This was a very, very long recording, and I was trying to like kind of rush to get this done because it was late at night at this point, and I was going to have to go to bed soon. I was not willing to stay up very much later to do this, and I actually didn't finish this all the way in this episode, but that's alright. In the next 10 days, I will get this out. I will get this finished. But for the walls on either side of that lava area, I decided to make them raw granite. And then I made like a little platform around the lava, like in front of it. For the floor, I made it like smooth granite, or whatever it's called, or polished granite. And I do know that you can't see it very well past that raw granite that's right beside it, but I will get that fixed because the rest of the floor around it will be smooth stone. So yeah, I think that that whole project that I just did was a complete success. So I started to get the smooth stone floor in and stuff as my time grew nigh with how much I could get done. So yeah. By this point, I had already been called by my parents to go to bed, but I got as much done as I possibly could before it was, like, really, really, really time to go to bed, and I didn't get all the way through, but I think that this has been a very successful 10 days, and I'm really excited to see what the next 10 days brings, and if I can survive the next 10 days. It's going to be so much fun. And so, enjoy the rest of this footage. I'll just leave it unedited so you can just watch the rest of what I do before I sign off for for the rest of the 10 days. This has been a great 10 days thus far, and I really hope that I have given you all something interesting to watch on this fine day. If you guys have any ideas as to what I should build, or if you want to see me renovate my base to look one way or the other, or think that something interesting may come along with doing this or that, please feel free to comment down below. I would greatly appreciate it if you all liked and subscribed. It is always temporary. You can always unsubscribe later if you do not like my content. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you in the next 10 days.